are looking at things like your tongue, your teeth,
Right.
your GI tract, that's your gastrointestinal tract, all the way from your oral cavity, all the way down to your anus.
Okay.
That segment. Then you are looking at other accessory organs like your pancreas, the liver. Those constitute the digestive system.
Okay. All right. Interesting. We didn't think about it like that. We only thought about the tube from your tongue, your teeth, and then all the way to the tube. But now you have given us a different perspective. How many times do we need to eat? Because then you have given us so many components. It puts pressure on all of them. Some like to eat 4 times a day, 3 times a day. Some do 0-1-0. Some do 0-0-1. Some do 1-0-0. How many times should we be eating?
Okay. So the normal thing is to eat 3-course meals 3 times a day. So when we're talking about 3-course meal, that's what there's this popular phrase of 3 square meal.
Right.
And when we talk about 3 square meal, people think it's breakfast, lunch, supper. It is not.
What is it?
Just like how in mathematics, when we say 3 square, it's 3 power 2.
That's right.
Which is 9. So it means that the square meal, you must have your appetizer, your main meal, and your dessert. That makes it 3. Times 3.
Times 3.
So your breakfast, you have your appetizer, your main meal, your dessert. Your lunch, you have your appetizer, your main meal, your dessert. Your supper, you have your appetizer, your main meal, your dessert. So that makes it a 3 square meal. Yeah, so it's actually 3 squared.
Okay, so it's not breakfast, lunch, and supper.
Breakfast,
but at every
lunch,
sitting,
and supper is not 3
you
squared.
must have the 3 meals.
So in maths, when you say 3 squared, it's 3 power 2.
That's right.
So 3 times 3 times 3.
3 raised to the power 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when we say people are not able to afford 3 square meal, it's actually the truth. A lot of people are not able to afford.
Even those who can afford do not know that they can afford because they have not interpreted it the way you have simplified it for us today.
That's true. That's true.
Now, let's say I have a 3-course meal in the morning. I eat I have my fruits. I drink my cocoa with my bread, my whatever milk, and then I have something for dessert. Between that breakfast, I eat at 7. When should I have lunch? What time? The space in between.
Okay, so usually distance of 4 hours is ideal. 4 hours.
Okay, 4 hours in between meals.
Yes.
Okay.
It's ideal because the food is actually fully digested in the stomach within 3 hours. Then it starts moving from the stomach to your small intestines. And so by 6-7 hours, you feel extremely hungry. So we always advise that you don't wait till you feel hungry before you eat. So 4 hours, 5 hours is okay. But if you wait till 6 hours, that is quite extreme. And it's also advisable that instead of eating big chunks of meal, you can split them.
So I want to eat 3 balls of cake. I'd rather drop 1 or maybe 2 and then split them so I can.
Yes.
If you do that, you are
Johnny,
disturbing the brothers.
When I share the flyer for today's program, a lot of boys contacted me that I should help them reduce their pot belly.
The pot belly, okay.
And I promised them that on the show we'll touch on that.
All right, let's go there.
Straight away?
Yeah, let's go there. Let's go there because a lot of boys are in the gym trying to sort it out, but it's not working. Okay, so before we go there, let me put this question. What kind of food should you be eating in order to sustain your digestive system? I mean, you mentioned 4 hours.
Yes.
So in the morning, typical person would have cocoa with kose, maybe with bread. You have spoken about that before in the past. Maybe some small milk, small granuts or peanuts in there. No fruit. They'll drink water in addition. That's the breakfast. And then they move to lunch. Maybe some kinky or something. So there's carbo here, there's carbo here. But they're doing office work and all of. What kind of food should you have in order to not to put yourself in harm's way?
So when it comes to the digestive system, let me use colors. The very brightly colored foods and the deep greens are the best for the digestive system.
Say that again.
Brightly colored foods and the deep greens. So when you're talking about brightly colored food, what comes to mind?
Your carrots.
Fruits and veggies. So your carrots, beetroots, tomatoes, the brightly colored ones.
Wow.
Then the deep greens, things like your kontomire, alefu, ayoyo, okro, the deep greens, they are very good for the digestive system.
They don't carry weight.
They do.
The boys.
They do.
The boys don't like that because wait, you know the banku has weight.
Now, if you are eating banku with okra soup, it carries weight. If you are eating your boiled yam with kontomire,
right,
it carries weight. So it depends on how you do the combination.
Okay.
Yes. So there was a time back we spoke about the food combinations. So it's important. Now, when you digest food, I was talking about the breakdown of food. We have the mechanical breakdown and the chemical breakdown. So the mechanical breakdown is where the food is physically broken down. Like you use your teeth to chew it, break it down.
Right.
And the chemical breakdown is where chemicals are secreted in the body to break down the food. Both the chemical and the mechanical breakdown starts from the mouth. So you use your teeth to break it down. Your tongue is used to roll the food. Saliva is secreted to mix up with the food.
Right.
Saliva contains an enzyme which starts breaking down carbohydrates.
Okay.
So both the chemical and the mechanical breakdown starts from the mouth and then it goes down and continues. Then there are some basic things that happen. The food moves through a process, peristalsis. I don't want to get very technical.
No, we beg you. We beg you.
Yes. So when the food gets to the stomach, acid juices mix up with the food, pancreatic juice, all those enzymes are mixing up with the food and the components of the food are absorbed. So if you have carbohydrates, you have your glucose absorbed. If you have protein, you have amino acids. If you have fat, you have fatty acids absorbed. And then they move into your bloodstreams and move to the organs and the necessary places. Now, you said we should move into the pot belly conversation.
Yeah, we'll get into that part. I know, I'm just teasing boys a bit.
Okay.
So again, the food, does it readily digest? Once you eat, you are sure that the food will digest. I'm asking this because you just mentioned that for carbohydrate, you start the mechanical, digestion and then the chemical digestion from the mouth. But in Africa, we have swallows.
Yes.
Fufu.
Yes.
So then the digestion for fufu begins in the mortar. Digestion for banku begins in the dadinseng. Is that not the case?
I get your point. So the physical
because you
breakdown.
Don't chew fufu.
Yes. So the physical breakdown of the fufu will start from the mortar.
Okay.
But when it gets to your mouth, as soon as saliva gets in contact with it, the salivary amylase will start breaking down the carbohydrate components.
We swallow the thing.
Yes, but remember that when you put the food in your mouth automatically generates saliva.
Right.
And that is even what helps in the swallowing.
Okay.
The saliva, it moistens it and helps in the swallowing.
Okay.
So as the saliva surrounds it, it starts breaking it down. And then it continues all the way down there. So whether it's food that you chew or food that you just swallowed, once there's carbohydrates in it, it will start from the mouth.
Okay, I get that point. Let's talk about the boys' problem.
Okay.
Slightly pot-bellied, enormously pot-bellied, or about to be pot-bellied. What is your answer?
Okay.
What is your magic?
So pot belly is usually as a result of accumulation of fat in the abdominal area.
Subcutaneous fat.
Okay, so we have subcutaneous fat and we have visceral fat.
Okay, explain the two.
Okay. So the subcutaneous fat is just below So when we talk about the abdomen, people confuse this side with stomach. The stomach is not here. The stomach is slightly up.
Okay.
Where we call the abdomen is where the intestines are.
Okay.
So
that's in between your chest and your groin.
Yes.
Okay.
That's abdomen. The layer of fat directly under the muscle there, the sheath of muscle there, is the subcutaneous fat.
Where the six packs usually shows.
Yes.
Okay.
So the fat beneath that is the subcutaneous fat.
Right.
Then when you go down where the intestines are, the visceral organs, the fat that surrounds them is a visceral fat. So if you've ever dissected a goat, you notice that when you cut the abdominal section of the goat, after the first layer, there's fat.
That's right.
Then when you get to the intestines too, you see fat.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So the one surrounding the intestinal organs is the visceral fat.
Okay.
Now, the visceral fat is more responsible for the pronounced pot belly than the subcutaneous.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And the visceral fat is even more difficult to burn than the subcutaneous.
The free inside it all.
Yes, because it's inward. It is not entirely bad. It has its own functions, actually. So pot belly is important somehow.
Okay.
Because the fat serves two main functions. It serves as a shock absorber.
Okay.
For the organs.
Right.
So if you have the fat surrounding your organs, they serve as shock absorber. Just that you need them in some optimum quantity. So excess of it is what causes the stomach, the abdominal walls to protrude. But the other thing they also do is to regulate the internal body temperature.
Okay.
So if you have the fat surrounding the organs, it helps to regulate and keep heat, actually. That's why technically fat people tend to sweat more than slim people. They feel heat more than slim people because they're able to retain.
The oil is generating.
Yes. So it is important, actually. So if you have pot belly and you're struggling to break it down, you can comfort yourself by saying that it's helping as a shock absorber and it's also helping regulate your internal body temperature.
How do you know if your digestive system is failing? How do you know? Are there symptoms to look out for?
Yes, so there are a number of things. For instance, if you suffer from GERD or acid reflux, it's a sign because there is a sphincter between the stomach and the intestines.
Okay.
That prevents, so the stomach itself secretes hydrochloric acid. It is supposed to contain it there and not come into the intestines and not come into your throat. So there's a sphincter both up and down the stomach to contain this acid. If it fails, then the acid would come up. That's the heartburn you experience. So it's nowhere near your heart. It's actually in your esophagus coming towards your throat. So you feel the acid burning because the lining of your throat is not as thick as your stomach lining.
Okay.
So it's not able to resist the impact of the acid. So acid generally corrodes.
That's right.
So that's when you start feeling the corrosion effect of the acid and you start having the acid reflux.
Right.
Which is what we call heartburn. So that's a sign.
That is failing.
Yes. So it means your sphincters are not closing that side well enough. So it's a failure of part of the digestive system.
Okay.
Another symptom, for instance, if you're having diarrhea, it's a disorder of the digestive system. It means that either your system is infected with some bacteria or virus or some foreign microbe, and so it's a failure because it means your digestive system is not operating optimally.
Right.
Good. If you are having indigestion, it's a failure because
you eat and it takes time more than the 4 hours.
Yes.
For the food to digest.
In fact, there are some people, their indigestion is so severe that they eat and when they defecate, the food comes out basically raw. Yes. It means that
chop beans, drop beans.
If you put it that way, it's so
Garbage in,
funny.
garbage out.
Yeah. So those are some signs of the failure. Now back to the pot belly.
We'll go to the pot belly.
Okay.
I want to keep the boys on a bit
All
because
right.
you tell us how to lose it. But how much time do you need to stay awake if you eat at night before you sleep?
Okay. So that is one myth I'm coming to break about eating late at night. People tend to say that, oh, when you eat late, you get pot belly. It's not true.
Say that again.
When you eat late at night, you get pot belly.
It's not true.
It's not true.
Oh, how?
Good. Coming to break it down for you.
Break it down.
The problem is not about the time you eat. The problem is about the duration between your last meal and your sleeping time. So you can say, oh, for me, I eat my supper at 6 p.m. I don't eat late in the night. You eat at 6:15, you are sleeping. And someone eats at 11 p.m. and sleeps at 1 a.m. You the one eating at 6 p.m., you've done nothing.
You are in trouble.
You will develop pot belly. And the one eating at 11 p.m. will not have pot belly.
Because they waited for the food to digest before
Exactly.
they slept. Okay.
So the issue about late night eating is not about the time per se. It's about the duration between the time you have eaten and the time you are sleeping. So don't worry yourself about, oh, it's late, I won't eat. It's late, I won't eat. If it's late and you're hungry, eat. But make sure that
You're waiting.
you wait enough, move around, do some brisk walking. There are some people in the evening, they are sitting in front of their television,
Yeah.
and that is when they are having their supper.
Right.
So they are in a seated position, they have eaten, they shove their plates aside,
Kick
and
up
they
their
fall
feet.
asleep.
Oh.
Yes. So even the television ends up watching them instead of they watching the television. You would develop pot belly even if that eating is done at 6 p.m.
I see.
So it is not about the time you have eaten. I keep telling people it's about the duration between the time you have eaten.
Let's quickly keep the answers short because our time is almost up. Liver salts.
Yeah.
A lot of brothers, they eat later. Oh, Charlie, I have liver salt. And I'm sorted. What role does it play? Does it help?
You see,
Use the microphone for me.
It does not help because just like I explained the issue about the acid reflux, the liver salt is only helping with the acid reflux because when you take the liver salt, it's alkaline. It goes to neutralize the acid that has moved out of your stomach into your esophagus. And when acid meets alkaline, there's a reaction that occurs to produce salt and water. So the liver salt only helps you get the relief because it goes to neutralize that acid that is burning your throat, giving you the heartburn. And then you feel the relief and you feel that you're sorted. It doesn't mean that it's helping you digest the food and then cure your pot
It's just
belly.
curing that discomfort,
Exactly.
but not digesting the food.
Not at all. It is not a digestive panacea.
What role does your liver play in the digestion process?
Metabolism.
What does it mean?
So, for instance, the reason why alcohol is a culprit for pot belly is that alcohol does not need digestion. When you drink alcohol, unlike normal food that has to be broken down and digested before it's absorbed into the system, alcohol is absorbed straight into the bloodstream. It does not go through any digestion.
Right.
But the liver has to metabolize the alcohol. So that metabolism, what alcohol does is that it serves as a distraction. So instead of the liver focusing on metabolizing other food items like your fats and your other food ingredients, the liver is focusing on the alcohol because the alcohol has moved straight to the blood. And then forgets about the fat. Then the fat tends to accumulate. Then it surrounds.
Problem comes and
yes. So alcohol is a culprit. That's why if you drink a lot of alcohol, you are likely to get pot belly.
Finally, the answer boys have been waiting for. Mawina does not have a pot belly, but Komla Adum is developing one. Acidiba as well. We told them when they came to the newsroom that from Theoda, now they are realizing it. What should they do?
Okay, so the first thing is to watch the time duration between your last meal and your sleeping time. Once you allow enough time, it means that your food will digest enough before you sleep. That's solution one.
Right.
Solution two is to reduce the quantity of the food you eat last.
Okay.
So
smaller portions.
So that you don't put pressure on your abdominal system, because digestion requires a lot of energy from the body. But when you are sleeping, the body is basically half dead. The active things are the brain and the heart. The rest of the organs are going into hibernation. So if your body has to now be working digesting food, it's a problem.
Okay.
Then the third thing is exercise.
Exercise.
Which
of them? Indoor, outdoor?
I know where your mind is going.
No, my mind is in the studio. My mind is in the studio.
Stomach exercise.
Okay, all right.
So you can do leg raises, you can do planks, you can even push-ups can help with your abdominal muscles.
Okay.
So those are.
What about apple cider?
You see, apple cider,
30 seconds.
It is not a panacea for developing flat abdomen.
Okay.
It helps with buffering the pH system in the abdomen.
Okay.
And once your pH system is balanced, then your digestion can work well. So it's not really like a panacea.
Okay.
If you have pot belly, I drink apple cider, no, it's not going to help.
I hear you. Freda Messi, thank you very much indeed for your time. Always a pleasure. The brotherhood is proud of you.
Thank you.
For bringing them pot belly solutions. My name is Johnny Hughes. I've been here with William Asiedu. Mawina Egbeta started off the morning with us. He's wrapping it up nicely so Black Rasta can take over, the king of Kuchoko music. We are going to Alliance Francaise in a short while in June. Ebafe Punko. We'll see you tomorrow. Be good.
3FM 92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
Pretty mama.